What's going on, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Monday, October 28th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games that I love, head to Pickdawgz.com and click the Premium Picks tab at the top of the page. Well, we split with the Wraparound on Sunday, went 2-2. Almost had a 3-1 day had it not been for or actually, well, we still would have went 2-2, but we split between the regulation play and the puck line for Colorado in a wild third period in that game. But now we dust ourselves off, a new week, and we just focus on the road ahead. Got plenty of NHL action on Monday to talk about, 8 games in total. Also got college basketball coming around, so started the prep for that. All of a sudden, we got a week full of football action, so got plenty to talk about during the week, but we're here to talk about those 8 NHL games. Let's make some cold, hard cash. What do you guys say? You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. First, we head to the KeyBank Center where the Buffalo Sabres take on the Florida Panthers. And, you know, the Buffalo Sabres keep continuing to provide value in some spots here and there. But the problem for me here is I think that this is just a tough matchup to really get behind them because the Florida Panthers are playing well in their own right. They've had a fair amount of success in recent meetings between these two teams, winning 5 of the last 6 meetings in Buffalo and 35 of the last 51 overall between these two teams. But the thing that stands out to me the most is that an edge that you think that Buffalo could potentially have is that Florida's not necessarily disciplined. They're I guess bottom 10 if you want to classify it. They're in the top 10 highest amount of penalty minutes and minor penalties assessed per game this season. And the Buffalo Sabres power play is just 1 for 26 this season. So if Florida's going to get these penalties, you got to be able to take advantage. And I just do not trust Buffalo to be able to take advantage here. I think the Panthers have a significant edge in goaltending as well. So I'm going to take the Panthers on the money line here at minus 160. Now we go to the Nationwide Arena where the Columbus Blue Jackets take on the Edmonton Oilers. And I can understand why the Edmonton Oilers would be favored on the road just because of name brand, because these are your defending Western Conference champions. And they started to pick it up a little bit after a slow start to the year. They've won 4 of their last 6 games. But some of those have been close calls, and some of those have been close calls against, lesser opposition. I mean, they went to overtime with the Philadelphia Flyers. They went to overtime against the Detroit Red Wings on the first half of their back-to-back on Sunday. And now they got to take on a Columbus team that has actually been fairly feisty this season. They're 6-1 to the puck line, and a lot of those have been in the underdog role. Actually, all of those have been in the underdog role. And, Columbus at home this season has played 4 games, and 3 of those they've covered the plus 1.5. So I'm going to sprinkle on the plus 1.5 here with the Blue Jackets. Maybe take a shot here at plus 200 on the money line. Now we head to the Amalie Arena for a matchup between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Nashville Predators. And it's no doubt going to be an emotional game because this is Steven Stamkos' return to Tampa Bay after signing with Nashville in the offseason. And, I do think Nashville could provide some value in some spots because this is a team that's won 3 in a row since their, rough start to the year. And while the first win over Boston at home was a solid one, they still narrowly got by the Chicago Blackhawks in a game that I thought that they would have won, a lot more decidedly. And then, narrowly got by Columbus. Now, we just talked about how solid Columbus has been playing. But for the amount of moves that Nashville made in the offseason to really make this team stronger, 1-goal wins are going to be a little bit too dicey for this team. I think they want more. They're just 2-6 on the puck line this season. And that's kind of why I'm leaning towards the Lightning here. Not only because of that, and I think that Tampa Bay does have the edge in goaltending with Vasilevsky over either Wedgwood or Saros. But this is a lot of travel in a short time frame for Nashville. I get it; it's early in the season, but they went from home to playing Boston to Chicago, back home to take on Columbus on the second half of that back-to-back. Now they're traveling to Tampa Bay before heading back for a homestand. I think the Tampa Bay can get it done here in front of their home fans before they head on a road trip, which features some tough competition ahead with the likes of Colorado, Minnesota, and Winnipeg over the first 3 games of that road trip. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay to get the win at home in this one at minus 135. Now we head to Candlelight Arena where the Winnipeg Jets take on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and this is the toughest game on the board for me because you got my hometown Maple Leafs against the wagon that is the Winnipeg Jets that just keep paying out. I kept trying to go back and forth and figure out which team, to back in this spot, but I keep saying it until they give me a reason not to. I'm going to keep rolling with the Winnipeg Jets. The Toronto Maple Leafs, this could be a very dangerous spot for the Winnipeg Jets to potentially lose their first game, considering that Toronto has had the bulk of the success when these two teams have squared off in recent years. I mean, head-to-head between the Jets and the Maple Leafs, Toronto 9-2 in the last 11 meetings in Winnipeg. They've also won 5 straight against the Jets, but they're just not looking right now. Toronto's, I listened to Craig Berube's Sunday morning press conference, his media availability. He said these guys are tired. It was a long travel trip, from Columbus to home to take on St. Louis and then back out to Boston. And while it's not the most, horrendous travel itinerary, it's still not easy. And now you got to head to Winnipeg to take on a Jets team that's been absolutely outstanding out of the gate. I still think Anthony Stolarz is the number one in goal for Toronto this season, but the goaltending for Toronto's allowed 14 goals in their last 3 games. Winnipeg, whether it's Eric Comrie or Connor Hellebuyck, continue to deliver, and I think I'm going to take the Jets here at a reasonable price at -120. Now we head to the Delta Center for a matchup between the Utah Hockey Club and the San Jose Sharks. I talk about the Winnipeg Jets continuing to deliver. The San Jose Sharks continue to deliver losses on the other side as they are now 0-7-2 straight up this season. And, it's at a point where, the offense isn't clicking. The defense isn't getting the job done more often than not. I mean, this is a San Jose team that's allowed at least 4 goals in 4 of their last 6 games, and they haven't scored more than 3 goals in a game since opening night against St. Louis Blues. That's now 8 games in a row. Utah has not been playing well in their own right. They've dropped 3 straight and 5 of 6 since their hot start to the season. But if the Utah Hockey Club cannot take out the San Jose Sharks, there's a problem here. I think Utah can get the job done here. You got to go back to when Utah was the Arizona Coyotes. They swept the San Jose Sharks last year by a combined score of 11-4 in 3 games. Got to think that Utah uses this as a bounce back, and the Sharks are auto fade until further notice. So give me Utah in regulation as well as on the puck line. Now we head to the Ball Arena where the Colorado Avalanche take on the Chicago Blackhawks, and I'll give Chicago credit. They've been more competitive than I expected them to be early on in the season. They've been able to keep a couple of games close. They kept it close against Nashville. They almost had fought back against the Dallas Stars last game, losing that game 4-2, but it was only a cover on the puck line for Dallas because of an empty netter with 18 seconds to go. But now they take on a Colorado Avalanche team that has simply owned them beating the Blackhawks over the last few years. The Blackhawks just really have had no success in this matchup, and especially when you go to Colorado. I mean, Chicago 2-9 in the last 11 meetings between these two teams, including 0-6 in the last 6 meetings in Colorado. And if you think that's bad, Chicago hasn't scored a goal in Colorado since October of 2022. They've been outscored 14-0 in the last 3 meetings between these two teams in Colorado, and they've actually been shut out in 4 of the last 5 meetings. I'm going to take the Avalanche here, and I'm going to take them on the puck line. I'm also going to, and this is for the people that don't just skim through the wraparound and actually listen, I'm going to just sprinkle a small amount on the under 0.5 goals on the team total for the Blackhawks. Basically, the Blackhawks to get shut out. You're getting that at plus 800. I know the Avalanche's goaltending hasn't been all that strong, and the Avalanche just went through a barn burner of that third period, like we mentioned earlier, against Ottawa on Sunday. But sometimes those numbers are just too good to pass on, and I'm going to take a shot here with that as well. But the main play here is going to be the Avalanche on the puck line. Now we head to Rogers Arena where the Vancouver Canucks take on the Carolina Hurricanes. And Carolina, has been playing extremely well. They're 5-2 straight up on the year. They've won 3 straight and 5 of 6. While Vancouver has righted the ship after a couple of early season losses and looking like they were really missing Thatcher Demko, but have now won 4 straight on the bounce. And while some of those have been close, and necessarily Vancouver hasn't played the toughest competition over this 4-game win streak with wins over Philadelphia, Chicago, and even Pittsburgh at home, The reality is that they are back on track, and I think that they have some confidence now. And now take on a Carolina Hurricanes team that's been one of the league's best and it is expected to be one of the league's best this season. While I don't always believe in head-to-head trends as rosters turn over from year after year, sometimes I do, because sometimes the numbers just are what they are, and teams just struggle against certain teams or in certain buildings, and this is one of those. The Carolina Hurricanes are just 2-13 in the last 15 meetings between these two teams in Vancouver. And I get it, these two teams only play twice a year, but consider the fact that Carolina has been one of the better teams in the NHL for the last few seasons, and Vancouver, there was a stretch where they were one of the worst teams in the league, a bottom feeder in the Pacific Division, or at least one of the below average teams in the Pacific Division for a long, long time. I think the Canucks have some value here. I think they have some. I think they have a chance to win this one. The home teams won 20 of the last 27 meetings. In what I do think is a coin flip, I'm going to take the even money with the Canucks in this one. Our final game takes us to the T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Calgary Flames. And I can look at the value of the Calgary Flames as they have won back-to-back games against the Golden Knights last season and 3 of the 4 meetings. But the problem for me is that Calgary is starting to show signs of being the team that we expected them to be, or at least I expected them to be by season's end, as they are starting to regress a little bit after that hot start to the year. The goaltending has started to falter a little bit. The goaltending that was given up 3 goals or less in the majority of their games has now given up 9 goals in back-to-back losses. And Vegas, well, Vegas is starting to pick it up. They've won 3 straight. They've scored 19 goals in those 3 games, and it continues to deliver. You back the Vegas Golden Knights at home, you fade them on the road, or at least you don't back them on the road. And they're 6-0, 5 wins on the puck line. I'm going to take Vegas in regulation minus 125. I'll put a little bit on the puck line as well for some plus money. That's it. That's all the NHL action for Monday, October 28th, 2024. If you like this content, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. Make sure you let me know your NHL picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games that I love, head to pickdawgz.com and click the premium picks tab at the top of the page. Going to have at least an NHL play of the day on the board. I'm probably going to have a second play, maybe even a third to have a 3-pack on the board. But at least I'll have one. And if I only have 2, well, the other one will be up there for long-term subscribers. So definitely make sure you jump on a long-term pass. Whatever you choose to do, whether it's a daily package or a longer-term subscription pass, use the promo code PICK at checkout for an additional 15% off your purchase. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys.